everyone, this is Binks and welcome back to Let's Play Ace Attorney Investigations 2 Prosecutor's Path, where we're continuing on in the fourth case of the game, the Forgotten Turnabout, end part 1. This end part 1 is taking longer than I thought. I thought we would have been at end part 2 by now, but guess not. Alright, let's continue on. So we found out last time that Nurse Karen is the accomplice and she betrayed her granny. So let's continue on. Miss Jensen, why? Miss Jensen, would you please tell us?
Yes, it's okay, Granny. I'm fine now. I switched places with the victim, Miss Crane.
So you admit to being the conductor's accomplice?
Yes, I helped out the conductor. I don't really know why, but for some reason, the conductor was expecting to be attacked by Miss Crane.
The conductor expected an attack from the victim.
They were so sure it was going to happen that they came up with a plan to counter it. A way to beat the victim at her own game. And that's when I was called in. I was told to wait in the storeroom before the auction began.
Hold it! Hold there! You ain't fooling my eyes! If you were waiting in the storeroom, I reckon I would have bumped into you. After all, I've been up in that storeroom the entire auction.
I'm telling the truth.
I wonder about that, you know. Can we really believe a girl who would falsify a report? Oh, weren't you just pitying her and feeling sorry for her a few minutes ago?
Objection!
Huh. There should have been many places to hide in that storeroom. Then by all means, tell me, where did our little nurse hide? The place in the storeroom where Miss Jensen hid was... Come on, it's the only hiding place we mentioned before. The trunk. She hid inside this costume trunk. A costume trunk, eh?
Ah, now that you mention it, that box was already there before I snuck in. I figured I would hide in there myself, but it was wrapped up nice and tight with a chain. And it was locked too, so I had to give it up. Damn, she was willing to pretty much lay in a coffin and wait. That's creepy. She must not be claustrophobic, because I know I wouldn't be able to do that. I suspect that when you sneaked into the room, Miss Jensen was already inside the trunk. Yes, it would have been bad if one of the guests from the auction had opened the lid. After instructing me to hide inside, the conductor wrapped the chain around the costume trunk. I think they went downstairs using the lift shortly thereafter. It was right before the auction.
So then, when the auction began, only you and Miss Hart were in the storeroom.
Yes, that should be right.
The auction had been going on as usual, but when a certain participant made the winning bid, the conductor committed the crime. Miss Hart must have heard the altercation that occurred then. You betcha! I was trembling behind that there statue the whole time, though. Following the altercation, Jill Crane was murdered. After killing Jill Crane, the conductor carried her body to the costume trunk. And Miss Jensen, who had been hiding in the trunk, was made to take Miss Crane's place. The victim's body was placed inside the costume trunk. The conductor then took Miss Jensen, who had been made to look like Jill Crane, and returned to the auction hall as if nothing had happened. Was this roughly what happened in the storeroom during the incident?
Yes, that's right.
Hold it. Pulling the old switcheroo with one of the auction guests? Ain't that impossible? That gal and the murder victim are two completely different people, you know. Don't you reckon one of the other participants would have noticed and caused a ruckus? No, not at all. The reason they didn't notice the switch was because... yeah, all she had to do was steal the clothes and cover her face, right? Because they were wearing those masks. From what I can tell, Miss Jensen and the victim appear to have a similar physique. And furthermore, there was a rule requiring a mask to be worn during the auction. If their clothes were the same, I doubt anyone would have noticed she was a different person.
Yes, I blended right in. I borrowed Miss Crane's clothes and ouch! You mustn't embarrass the dead like that. I know. I also thought it was pretty heartless to leave her exposed like that. So when the conductor wasn't looking, I covered her up in the raincoat that was up for auction.
Ah. So she was the one who put the red raincoat on the victim. But as a nurse, shouldn't you have realized she wasn't dead at that point? Like, you should have been able to check her pulse, you know? And then the auction resumed as if nothing had happened. I reckon I took the picture of her in the red raincoat after that. That'd make all the facts line up. After I took the photo, I went over to the lift to sneak a peek down below. I witnessed the 11 participants and then I hightailed it back behind the statue. Don't tell me you were hiding there the entire time until we found you.
Nah, that's, how should I put it?
What is it? Did something happen?
I didn't mention it before, but after that I might have dozed off a little. To be more precise, I fainted? Well, something like that.
So something did happen.
It ain't no big deal. Kinda embarrassing to say, though. There was this huge thump sound all of a sudden. I was a little surprised by that. It was right after I had just witnessed the murder, so I was shaking in my boots. My heart sort of tightened up and I was off to La La Land. When I woke up, it was already the next day, around the time y'all came by the storeroom.
I see, so there was a large sound. Miss Hart, I take it you do not know what transpired in the storeroom beyond this point?
I guess, but after the auction, all the masks were properly returned. So I reckon the participants had exited through the storeroom just like I done said.
Miss Jensen, what were your actions after the auction resumed?
I took the victim's place and participated in the auction. The conductor instructed me to win the bid for the costume trunk, because the body was inside it. It would have been bad if another auction guest won the bid for it.
You didn't realize the box was empty?
No, we only found out when I came up to the storeroom to pay the bill. The conductor was with me and told me to go search for her immediately. And then, I found another girl collapsed in front of the ladder.
Okay.
Yes, she probably fell down from the roof and lost consciousness.
Maybe the victim left the hatch open when she went up to the rooftop. Understand now. Kay was surprised at seeing the collapsed victim and did not notice the open hatch. She must have missed her footing and fell down into the storeroom. Poor Kay. Miss Hart, I've determined the sound that made you faint. It was likely the sound of Kay falling onto the storeroom floor.
That would have been pretty loud. That might have been it, though I reckon it'd be kind of pathetic to faint over something like that.
When Miss Jensen found the unconscious Kay, Miss Hart was also unconscious behind the statue. The situation is becoming clearer to me. Miss Jensen, please continue your story.
After I found Kay and the victim, I put them both in the trunk.
Ooh, poor Kay.
If the customers at the auction found out, there would have been a huge commotion.
Was this an order from the conductor as well?
Yes, it was. But since I secretly decided to put the raincoat on Miss Crane, I had to dispose of the raincoat without the conductor noticing.
So the conductor didn't anticipate the raincoat becoming another piece of evidence.
And finally, we dressed Miss Crane in a spare conductor's outfit.
I see. In doing so, you made the victim appear as if she was the conductor.
In the end, the auction ended without anyone noticing anything.
Miss Jensen, your crimes have become clear. If you know anything else, please hold nothing back.
I want to help you more, but that is all I know. If I had to say, there is just one thing that bothers me. When I took Miss Crane's place, I borrowed her clothes. But there was no way for me to borrow her hair. Ouch! What kind of coroner's assistant goes around stealing a corpse's hair?
I would think that robbing the deceased of their clothes would be questionable enough.
Both the color and the length of our hair is different, so I was worried about how to disguise it. However, the conductor even had a wig prepared for me.
Burrow.
In fact, he had 2 of them. Inside the costume trunk, there was both a straight wig and a wavy wig.
2 wigs? Why were there 2?
Who knows? Maybe it was a precaution in case the victim had changed her hairstyle? I ended up using the straight wig to match Miss Crane's hair.
So that means the wavy wig was left unused.
And where did it go? Because I haven't seen any mention of it or anything.
Is that really all you know?
Yes. Yep, that's really all I know.
So that means you don't know who the conductor is.
I'm sorry, I only knew that person as the auction conductor. I never saw that person without a mask on. The conductor seemed to be on guard towards everybody.
Ugh, this rate.
Edgeworth, is that all you've got? Even if that little nurse is an accomplice, it changes absolutely nothing, you know. In the end, the true culprit is still Kay Faraday. All you did was add another criminal, you know.
That's BS. Why is Kay still the culprit? Come on. At this point, she should have been free to go. Yeah, he can't find the other criminal, even though we know it's Blaze. But they should have time and people could still investigate and then they'll catch him, right? That's how it should be. You know how Ace Attorney world is.
The rule of law cannot be overturned, at least not for your sake.
Is this as far as I go? Am I unable to save Kay?
Oh? Hey, Franziska, there you are, darling.
Franziska, why are you here?
Didn't I tell you, Miss Edgeworth? Wherever there is a case, I will follow.
Prosecutor Von Karma, your hard work is most appreciated.
However, don't get the wrong idea. I'm not here for you, I'm here for Kay.
Of course you are.
Lesbian. I only came here to find out the truth behind what happened to Kay Faraday. I don't plan on forgiving you for abandoning the prosecutor's path.
Hey, title. I understand.
You should thank your former subordinate. He gave me some valuable information which may save Kay Faraday.
Detective Combs, you did. I was wondering where he was all this time. Though we already have a pretty full house over here.
Listen well, Miss Edgeworth. This will be the final piece of evidence. Jill Crane suffered the wound on her head first.
Ooh, just too late. Yeah, we already dealt with that issue. Oh, Gumshoe and Franziska, you guys are always just a little slow behind the times, huh? Oh boy, she was so excited too. I bet she was like, oh yes, I'm gonna come in, make a dramatic entrance, show off in front of my brother figure and my potential future girlfriend and save her and rescue the damsel in distress. Oh, poor Franziska.
I appreciate your efforts though, Franzi. Well, someone say something.
Um, well, I hate to say it, but we already proved that. Already proved? Yes, well, just a few minutes ago. Ugh! Oh, that's funny. You should have told me sooner. What? When, ma'am? You're the one who barged in here and started talking. Well then, does that mean you found out what the murder weapon was already? No, not yet. Huh. Is that so? In that case, listen well. The victim was struck on the head with a blunt cylindrical object. The wound in her chest was suffered post-mortem. A cylindrical murder weapon.
Objection.
Oh.
You know, this report of yours, I trust it's accurate, of course.
These were the results of 2 independent autopsies carried out by 2 respected doctors, unlike that hag over there.
Objection.
That's reassuring, but it's too bad. You have no right to investigate this.
Interpol is after the black market auctions, and I'm the prosecutor in charge of the investigation, you dumb old man. The victim participated in the auction. Therefore, it is only natural for me to investigate. Get 'em! Especially now that she's been murdered.
I see. Clever girl, little Von Karma.
Then it has been settled. The victim died from blunt force trauma, like most of our victims in these games. Blunt force trauma to the head. It's so overdone. But it looks like that's like the most common and simple way to kill someone in these games. Hit them over the head, push them down, and they hit their head. You know, it's just pretty easy, I guess. Less brutal, I guess, too, compared to like stabbing or shooting or something. You don't see gunshots most often in these games. Unless it's like law enforcement or something like that, or like a criminal mastermind. It's interesting. Unfortunately, the murder weapon has yet to be found.
Huh. Just knowing the shape of the murder weapon gives me an idea as to what it might be.
We did mention it earlier.
Hey, in my investigation, we didn't find any other murder weapons, you know. If you consider the conductor's possessions and the crime scene, the answer should be clear. The blunt cylindrical object used in the auction hall was
the auction gavel.
Yes, Judge Courtney's gavel.
It was something the conductor had in their hand during the auction. Namely, an auction gavel.
An auction gavel? We didn't find anything like that.
If the culprit is the conductor, it is possible that the gavel may be the murder weapon. However, that alone is not reason enough, wouldn't you agree?
Of course, I have proof to back it up.
This piece of evidence proves that the murder weapon is the auction gavel. The fact that it went missing, right? Oh, that's Karen. Where's Lada's? Did it get updated? The sound of the gavel was not heard afterwards. Yeah.
According to Miss Hart's testimony, after the victim had been murdered, it seems she suddenly stopped hearing the sound of the gavel during the auction. However, she had been able to hear it up until then. Why was that, you ask? It was because it had been used as the murder weapon and was covered in the victim's blood. It became necessary to dispose of it. Isn't that right? Blaze the best?
I'll have a search for the murder weapon performed immediately.
Well, good luck with that, you know. You've got to work as hard as you can while you're young, you see.
He's completely confident that we won't find it. Well then, while the search for the murder weapon continues, I hereby call for a brief recess.
Oh, to be continued. All right, well, this is a short one. Man, did it take a long time just to get to this to be continued. Ooh, finally. But I think makes sense for us to end this episode here and start off end part 2 in the next episode. Who knows how many episodes it will take us to get through that one. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this. And until next time, have a nice day. Bye.